Does your uh, Saul? I did what you suggested and set this up so it starts recording when I start the meeting. Do you have an indicator that it is recording?
Yeah, in the upper left, there's a little red dot in the word
Yeah.
recording.
I know there is in mine. I wanted to make sure there is. Well, was there before I made you a co-host?
Well, you made me a co-host really fast here, but
Yeah.
but
Okay.
the answer to your question is all participants see that.
Okay. Good.
It's just like, the recording light is on in the studio.
Yep.
So that's visible to everybody in the meeting.
How come you know so much about Zoom?
I started looking into it probably early on in 2020 because of the pandemic. And I just figured, not just Zoom, I was looking at all different web conferencing platforms because Zoom hadn't emerged as the leader at that point. So I looked at over a dozen of them. And I was looking for ways for people to stay in contact when they were kind of locked down with friends and families and organizations, just because it gets depressing otherwise. So I was evaluating a whole bunch of them and narrowed it down to a few because I wanted something where people could use it without being technical experts. Okay.
Yeah.
And meaning not have to install any software. They could just join through a web browser and things like that. And some of them permitted you to do that, and some of them did not. And so, particularly if somebody were still working, they might have a laptop from their company at home, but not have the rights to install any software, because it's locked down by the company. Or just, again, technically challenged people, okay, who might not be able to manage to install anything. So Zoom permitted that. Google at the time had another platform that they no longer have called Hangouts. They transferred it over to a different platform now. Not as user-friendly, not as open as it was to anybody who could just use it. Whereas, and you shouldn't have to have participants create an account on the platform. They should just be able to join a meeting like they can with Zoom, as an example. But not all platforms are like that, even today. Some of them make you create one. And I think Google does that now. Okay. They call it Google Meet instead of Hangouts, which was their more commercial level. But anyway, to answer your question, I just looked into them a lot back then and tried to evaluate them and figure out what would work easiest for people.
Was there a particular organization or group of people that you were thinking of doing this with, or was it just intellectual curiosity?
It was more the latter. The point is that, as I said, everybody was getting locked down and cabin fever, and just even staying in touch with family members or friends or whatever it is. But I also obviously belong to organizations, as you do, and they would need a way to continue meeting also.
Hey, Will, when you came in this morning, were you in the waiting room for a few minutes? I can't remember whether I clicked you in or you just showed up.
I admitted him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That answers that question.
Yeah.
Hey, Saul, I asked in a previous time how you set it up so that your video showed up in the lower right-hand corner whenever you were doing a presentation. I never did figure out how to do that. Do you recall how that's done?
I looked for it also, Will. There is a checkbox in recordings where it says if you want to include them in the recording. During the meeting, it doesn't explicitly say it's there, and I have seen that happen, and I know somebody who has utilized that.
Well,
so
Hank used it.
I can ask them.
Hank, you used it a while back where you put your video down in the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner.
Actually, the video during a screen share is what I was talking
right.
about. And,
Yes.
and it was in the upper right on my Zoom app.
This was during a share screen. It was in the lower right-hand corner whenever you were doing a share screen.
I think it depends on what view you're in. Whether
It-
you're in speaker view or
It-
what's the other
Yeah,
one?
gallery view. But
Gallery.
there's always a pane to the left of the shared screen, and that could be in either speaker view, active speaker view, or gallery view.
Well,
Either
this is
way.
a miniature. This is a miniature.
Right. This is like a thumbnail, is what you're talking about, Will.
Right.
And it was in the upper. In my case, it was in the upper right corner of some Zoom meetings I've been on.
Okay, well, now I'm sharing my screen, whatever I had on my Google.
Yeah, but the point is, there's no thumbnail within the share screen. It's not taking up the whole view of what we're seeing. And what I was going to think it is that it might involve a feature of Zoom called Spotlight, where you can select somebody. The host can do this, not other people, and they can hover over and they can spotlight a person during a meeting. I don't know if that influenced it, but I couldn't test it because you have to have 3 people in a Zoom meeting for Spotlight to be allowed to be used. And I only had 2 computers to test it with. So I wasn't.
How do you get to Spotlight?
The host can hover over a person's video tile, for instance. There's a little 3-dot drop down, and co-host can do this too. But the host can spotlight an individual, and then that puts them up on the screen, almost like active speaker view, and they can spotlight more than one person. Okay. And that applies to everybody in the meeting. I mean,
can you spotlight me right now?
I can't, but Hank could probably do it.
I thought you were a host.
I'm a co-host. There's only one host in a meeting, and that's Hank in this case.
And what am I supposed to do?
If you hover over Will's tile, you should see in the upper right corner a little 3-dot icon that if you click on, you'll get a drop-down menu, and you might find a thing to say spotlight that person. Now, that may not work. That may not work while you're sharing a screen, but
okay, hold a minute. I'll unshare.
Yeah. So you spotlighted Stan, but the concept's the same. And so now we're seeing Stan as like active speaker view kind of thing. And but I don't know if that does what Will was asking, which was to put a little thumbnail on a shared screen. So I haven't had a chance to test it.
Well, Hank, you did that one time with a presentation. You had yours. You had your.
I know you've told me I did this, Will. You've told me I did this a couple of times, but I don't know what I did.
That's what you told me. You said you couldn't remember what you did.
And I don't recall that happening either. But
who told you how to do it, Hank? Do you recall?
I don't even know what you're talking about, Will.
Yeah, and I don't even know that it happened.
It did. Because I was surprised at it and said, wow, that's a great feature. I wish I could figure out how to do that.
It was aliens, Will.
I don't remember.
It was aliens.
No, you had your thumbnail show up. You were doing a share screen, and you had your thumbnail show up in the.
What do you mean, my thumbnail? What thumbnail?
It was a miniature of your video tile.
A miniature of my face and my palm tree and
yeah.
And I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying that's what Will's referring to.
Yeah.
And it could be that maybe if you spotlight yourself, it might do that. I don't know.
Anyway, it's a neat feature, and I like to figure out how to do it.
Oh, I can spotlight for everyone. There I am.
But that doesn't really, what spotlighting does is the host spotlights, and whatever they spotlight is what everybody sees.
Yeah, it's just a speaker view.
Are you now seeing my spotlight taking up the whole screen?
Yeah, as a speaker
not
view.
the whole screen.
Almost.
It's just that you it's the same as if we were in active speaker view and you were the active speaker.
Yeah.
There's a
Okay,
difference between
now if
spotlight.
I share, I'm sharing and my spotlighted self has gone away. So
Right.
Yeah,
That's not it.
It's not doing what Will asked.
Yep.
And
I think it might have something to do with whether you have two screens or one screen. What you've been talking about spotlighting has been putting it on my side screen. And if you only have one screen, I think that may go into a thumbnail, but I don't know.
No, it does not. It goes
Okay,
into,
well then,
goes into speaker view.
okay.
and not to confuse the issue further, but Zoom also has a different feature called pin. That's what individual participants can do. They can pin somebody and make them like an active speaker view on their
Oh, really?
screen, but that's only for their own screen.
How
Whereas
do you get that?
spotlighting, you hover over a tile and you select pin. Okay,
Okay.
like on the three dots again. But spotlighting is only done by the host, and the host can feature. And that would be like if you had one person doing a presentation, you might want to quote spotlight them, which is sort of like the equivalent of active speaker view.
Yeah.
And or you could spotlight two people, like if you had a 2-person panel or 3 people or whatever, and focus on them and not everybody else in the gallery view.
Okay,
But
that just forces everybody into speaker view.
Well, not everybody.
Well,
The selected people.
oh. No, I mean, it forces everybody who is in the session to see speaker view.
Spotlighting does that by the host. Pin only does it on your screen. You're
And
only
that's
your
all I
screen.
could get.
Yeah.
That it's the same for me.
Anyway, we can move on.
Meanwhile, back at the Zoom session.
Yeah. Back at the Zoom session, we're going to listen to Will Wakely this morning, right? Will, you ready?
Really? Yeah.
Right.
no,
Let
I'm
me
ready.
see if there's anybody. Hold on a minute. What time is it? It's only 8:29. I'm going to wait another 5 minutes.
Yeah, do
Make
that.
sure everybody's here who wants to be here.
Be glad you're not back on the East Coast.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah. I have a friend who lives just south of Providence, and they're talking about that area getting 2 feet of snow.
Boy.
That's a lot.
He was
However,
from
my
middle
dad talked
Hawaii.
about back in the early 1900s, he said they had to duck underneath the telephone wires when they were walking on the snowbanks.
Hmm.
That's pretty high.
So Dan has his hand up.
Hi, Dan. What?
Hi, I want to know why you have a flashing light on your face.
Because I have something turned on called screen lighting, and the other option is to turn a little floodlight on, which that doesn't make it better. It makes it more. Probably because I have let's see,
Is it a police car out front?
virtual background.
I didn't see that in previous sessions.
It
Yeah.
happened once or twice in the past a while back. It might have been Zoom trying to auto adjust the lighting or something. I don't know what it
That's
is.
what it is. There's a place where I can select or deselect auto lighting or something like that. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to get distracted from getting on with the meeting. And first thing I want to say is that I have heard from some people at various times that they can't be here on Saturday morning. So I'm going to start recording all the sessions and make that recording available to anybody that wants it after the meeting. for some time. These are pretty big files and they'll go automatically into my computer. And I don't want that to totally fill up my computer. So I'll probably only keep them for something like a month. All of you people who aren't here because you can't be here on Saturday morning, speak up.
Raise your hand so we can see you and recognize that you're not here.
Right.
Oh, this is interesting. I'm not in speaker view, but yet whenever anyone speaks, they turn into speaker view. Is this something that Hank has turned on?
I think so, because it's the same for me.
Your view in the upper right corner, Will, if you click on the view drop-down thing, must be set to active speaker view rather than gallery view.
So far as I know, I didn't do that, but.
Oh, that worked for me. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're right. I am in speaker view. Did I get thrown into that automatically? Because normally I'm not in that view.
You may have when Hank was spotlighting.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Learn something new every Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah. And being seniors, we get to learn it every third Saturday because we forget in between.
Okay, well, I think it's time.
You want to find out if there are any other comments first before we go
Let
into that?
let me mute everybody, and then you can unmute yourself, Will.
Okay.
Done.
Okay, thanks. Earlier this week, I had a request that I submit some sort of a personal video, and I had about an hour to do it, and I had no idea how in the world to do it. Normally, my friend, the A-girl, Alexa or Google will answer my questions. But YouTube is also an intellectual expert too in answering questions. So actually, I think I went to YouTube first, and I said, how do I make a selfie photo using my computer camera? And as expected, it came up with about 15 selections. So I chose one of them, and I only use my camera really for the Zoom sessions, the camera on my computer for Zoom sessions, and I don't use it for anything else. And I discovered that indeed there is a program built right into Windows called Camera. And I had never used it before, never even knew it was there. And so I clicked on the search bar down below, and sure enough, there's an icon there for Camera. And so I clicked on that. And actually, no, I went first to YouTube and had it described to me how to do this. But I was surprised to discover that there was an icon on my computer called Camera, which I had never known about or even used before. But the camera has a lot of additional features. I've only used it, as I say, for Zoom sessions, but apparently it has a lot more capabilities, not only taking photographs, but also doing videos. So let me bring up the YouTube that I went to, and we'll take a look at that just a moment. Trusting this will work. Okay, I need to do share screen here, so I shall do that. And go to, if I can find it. There it is. No, that's not it. Just a moment. I'm having problems getting to what I want to get to. Well, I may have to get there a different way. No, I'm still not getting to where I want to get to. So hold on, folks. Somehow I gotta get there in one way. Let's see, I gotta. Ever have something work the day before, but it doesn't work when you want it to?
During demos.
That's what seems to be happening right now. Let me go to share screen again. And gotta get to.
Well, he's hunting. Can anyone hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, I can hear
Mel.
you.
Thank you.
Well, I've got to get to. Got to get to out to the. No, this isn't.
Will, is there a way you can increase the volume on your computer?
Yeah, let me. I've got it on full volume.
It's not just the YouTube volume, it's your computer's volume itself.
Okay. Is it not very loud?
Correct. We hear what your setting is at. Is the problem.
Click on the lower right corner of your screen, Will, all the way down. Lower right where the speaker icon is.
I see it. Okay, let me pop that up.
See if it's at 100%. If you hover over it, it'll tell you whether it's
Yeah,
at 100.
okay, I've got it up to 100% now.
It's still pretty low.
That's as high as mine goes.
Can you check individual sources like on a mixer on Windows? Because maybe the individual mixer one for, I don't know, the web browser or something is down.
Okay, in the lower right-hand corner, my speaker is at 100%. And where is the mixers you're talking about?
If you right-click that speaker icon, it should give you other choices.
Okay. All right. Open sound
Also-
settings, volume
So
mixer.
check that you're sharing the audio from the video. You may be hearing it through your microphone as opposed to from the video.
Spatial sound is turned off. Open sound settings. Let's see what it says. No, it indicates all of those are okay.
Will, when you shared the video, did you click the box that says share the audio from the video?
Let me go back and check that.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay, I'm into settings here. I got to get out of that.
Yeah, I think you have to stop sharing and then reshare with and check to make sure that you're sharing the audio from
Yeah,
the,
okay, hold on. Where's my stop?
I'll stop your sharing.
I stopped it. Yeah, okay. And now let me try again.
And when you get to that screen where you click share, look at the left, the lower left.
Okay. Trying to get back to where I was. Okay, a share sound. There we go. Share sound. All right, that may be it. Let me try.
The default mode is the camera or photo mode.
Is that any better?
much better.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And unless you've used it already for video, that is going to be the mode that it starts with. One of the big gotchas that can really mess you up is if you think you're recording a video and you're actually in the photo mode, you'll hit the record button once, start talking, maybe you'll speak for a couple minutes, and then you'll hit the button again to stop and realize at the end that you've only taken 2 photos, one at the beginning and one at the end of your lecture. So you don't want to do that. So make sure first things first to check whether you're in video or photo mode. This means I'm in the photo mode if the big button says take photo. If you swap over to video, you'll see that the big button now says take video. And you'll see that this button looks supposed to look like a little bit more like a camcorder maybe. So anyway, this is the record mode here for video. Okay, so we'll do a quick test recording right here. So again, I'm going to make sure I'm in the take video mode. I'm going to click it once to start recording and then click it again when I'm done. Hi, this is Kenneth Chan. Welcome to class. In this lesson, I will be teaching you about 1, 2, and 3. So enjoy. Okay, so I've recorded that video, and just so I have something else to look at, let's say I didn't like that take, I wanted to do it again. You can immediately record again. You can just go ahead and do that. So you see that there's one video down here already in the camera roll, but we can go ahead and do a second one. Hi, this is Kenneth Chan on take 2 of my video. You don't actually have to say that for your videos because people won't know so long as you don't publish the other one. So welcome again to class, and we'll be using this video for our lesson today. Okay, so I went ahead and hit stop. So under my camera roll, if I click on it, you'll be able to see that this is video 2 of 2. Okay. Another thing that you'll see is it should look flipped. You might feel a little bit confused at the moment. Hey, how come it looks different from what I just recorded? It's because it's actually the flipped version of the video as your audience would see it and not the mirrored version as you would see it. Okay, so if you needed to test, you can of course play it back. Hi, this is Kenneth Chan on take 2 of my video. You don't actually have to say that for your videos because people won't know so long as you don't publish the other one. So welcome again to class. If you're done with your recordings, you can go ahead and quit out of this. Again, under your camera roll, here's all of my stuff. If you needed to find it from scratch, you could potentially just go to your File Explorer. It's usually under your Pictures folder, so starting from this PC, C drive, most likely under your users, find your username and find your Pictures folder, and it's under your camera roll. Okay, so here it is again, and you can figure out which one it is, lesson 1. Okay. So this ends our segment on how to record video using the built-in camera and video tools in Windows 10.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty elementary. But for me, it
With
was,
the title slide, to edit an item on the storyboard, we simply click on
uh-oh,
that
sorry,
item,
I
and
didn't
when we
stop.
click on it, we see a whole options.
Sorry,
that
I
we can
gotta
take
kill
on the
that.
file. I'm going to walk through what all these different options do and how you can use them. One
Where?
other way to expose these actions is you can right click on the file itself, and when you right click on it, this exposes a context menu.
If you're in the YouTube browser window, if you just press the letter M on the keyboard, it will mute it.
Context menu are also available here, and because this doesn't
Say that again, Saul.
I said if you're in the browser window with the YouTube video and you press the M key on the keyboard, it will mute the video.
here that it says 11.28. This is the duration of the clip.
Or you
Okay.
Almost 12 seconds of time.
Okay, I killed it.
And now you're sharing your screen again. There, oh, now you are. Okay.
Okay, am I back to non-sharing?
Perfect. There we are.
Anyway, that was pretty elementary, but for me, it was pretty informative. But now the problem was that I had a video that I had made of myself, but I needed to edit it. And I said, okay, how in the world do I edit a video? I think I did this many years ago, but in the meantime, I had forgotten how I did it. So again, I went to my friend YouTube and I said, how do I edit a video? And sure enough, it gave me about 150,000 videos that I could watch. And I chose one from a guy that looked like he knew what he was doing. And so I will try to show you that one now. Windows itself has a built-in video editor, which I think it used to be called a movie something, but they changed the name of it, but it does the same thing. And to
It was
get to
called
it,
Movie Maker.
Movie Maker, yeah. And apparently this new one has a different name, but again, the way I got to it, I think, was just to put a question in the search box down below, and it came up. But this video will explain how you get into it and how it works. The first video just reviews a bunch of various free video editors that are available in for Windows. And there are, as you might guess, many out there. Not all of them are free, but there are at least 5 that he reviews that he said are very good. Some of them, unfortunately, does cost some money for some special add-ons you might want to do, but just for basic video editing, I believe they're free. And they go all the way from the one that's available on built-in Windows 10, which is elementary, but does everything I wanted to do, all the way up to much more complex ones that are free, but beyond what I need and beyond what I want to learn to do. So let me review with him what free videos or video editors are available, and we'll go on from there. So let me share again. And
Your audio is weak, Will.
Audio is weak.
Just speak louder.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Will, are you using Windows 10 or 11?
10. Using Windows 10. Okay, let's go to share screen again. Well, unfortunately, I'm not getting the video that I want. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's go this way. Okay. No, this is weird. The video is up on my screen, but it doesn't show in the share screen selection.
Yeah, well, it may just show as the browser application that's running it.
Is this another
Yeah.
YouTube video?
Yeah, it's a YouTube video and it's up on my screen, but it
So,
doesn't.
so if you share the browser, then it should be available.
You would think so, wouldn't, but it apparently is not showing as a share screen.
You're not sharing your screen right now. You do know that, right?
No, I'm trying to select the video I want to show.
When
And
you go to share your screen, you can select it. You have to click the share screen first, and then it'll let you select what you want to share.
I know, but I don't see the selection in the ones that are available, although.
Yeah, Will, you may only see it as the browser. It's the program that gets shared, not a particular tab on a program.
Well,
You should be able to put something on your browser that you can recognize and share that. And then after your browser is being shared, you can change what's on your browser.
Yeah, flip to a new tab or whatever.
I know from personal experience that getting help like that while you're trying to
yeah,
share a screen is not necessarily very helpful.
yeah, well,
So the learning moment here is when you want to present content, have it queued up and ready to go.
yeah,
And he thought he did.
I did.
Yeah, I think the thing is it is ready to go and it went.
And it needs to come back.
Well, if you're on full screen, do you see the green share button in the center bottom of your screen?
Yes. Mhm. I'm trying to bring up the video is my
Yeah.
problem.
When I understand what you're doing, Will,
Yeah,
and what's not happening.
yeah. All right, I gotta bring it up somehow. Usually if I control enter, will usually bring up what I have highlighted, but it didn't want to do that today. Okay, let's go to here. Here. We're getting there, folks. Hold on. Great. Says this video. Outrageous. Says this video isn't available anymore. These guys are sabotaging me, folks.
Did you say you had 2 videos?
I actually have 3.
Then move on to the next one.
All right, well, let me just search in here and I'll get it. And we're going to video, edit.
Will, if
Yeah.
you don't have any more success, I'd suggest that you email me the links to those 3 videos and I'll send them to everyone so they can watch them at home.
Actually, no, we can do it. I got it here. Okay, here's one. The best 5 videos.
Free video editing software.
Okay, we got it up there now. Let me go back to my supposedly back to my Zoom session. I can get there. Where are you? Okay. I don't know why what I have selected on my home screen doesn't show up in the share screen.
You can always select your desktop in when you're sharing, and that will provide access to everything.
Well,
There's also a setting within Zoom for sharing, whether you want to share just the main screen or the application and all of its screens. And sometimes if it pops up a secondary screen, it may not show that one.
yeah, it doesn't want to allow me to share that particular thing that I have up on my home screen. I don't know why it doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow that particular program to show. That's weird. Huh. Don't know, folks. I'm flummoxed.
When you click on shared screen, there are three things at the top. It says basic, advanced, and
Yeah.
files. Will that help?
Okay.
Hank's
sharing screen now.
Somebody jumped in there.
I'm sharing now.
Yeah, I was about to go that. I think that was the answer that I had. I wasn't in.
Yeah, try again, Will.
Okay. I think it has to do with advanced or basic. I'm in advanced. That's
Go back to basic and
basic.
And it should show you.
Oh yeah, okay, now it's showing. It wasn't showing before. All right, do you see a thing that says video editing software?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, let me, I really need to go back and turn on the sound I expect. I didn't do that.
You might be able to do that through the screen sharing control bar. If you look over on the, there's like a more on the right end and drop down, and you might find a way to do it from there.
Well, why don't I just go back and turn on the sound?
Okay.
Might be easier if I can unshare, stop share, and now share again. And I forgot about turning on the share sound. Oh, I do have share sound turned on. Okay. All right.
And when I say free, these
Looks
truly
good.
So is this showing and playing?
Looks
Yeah.
good.
Sound okay?
are
Yes.
free. There are no watermarks, there are no time limitations, none of that. They're just entirely free. And they're also pretty good. When you compare them to paid video editing software, in many cases, these are just as good, if not better. In fact, on my YouTube channel, I use one of these free video editors to pull together all of my videos. As we're running through this, if you decide you want to use one of these video editors, I've included links in the description down below that'll give an in-depth overview of how to get started. All right, let's jump on the PC and let's check these out. This brings us to the first free video editor, and this is probably one that you already have. If you're running Windows 10, Windows 10 comes with a video editor. What? Yes, it's true. If you go down to the search field on your taskbar, simply type in video editor. Who would have thought? And right up at the top as the best match, you should see video editor. Let's click into this one. This drops us into the Windows 10 free video editor. And if you're still scratching your head and wondering how you ever missed this, don't feel that bad. It's very difficult to discover. The video editor is actually within the Photos app. And in the past, you had to open the Photos app and then you had to go into the video editor. Only recently, Microsoft added video editor to the search field so it would pop up there. Let's start with what I like about the video editor, and there is a lot to like. It comes with your PC, so you don't have to download any other software to edit videos. It's also extremely easy to use. Here I could drag and drop some video files directly into the video editor. And here I can use the storyboard to pull together my video. I simply drag and drop my different clips down and my video starts to take shape. Over here, I have access to all of the most common video editing tools. You could trim, split, add text, and the list goes on with what you can do. Up above, you also have access to background music. So here I could insert music and I could even sync it to my video's music beat. Over here, I could also insert custom audio. Let's say I wanted to include a voiceover. It has a lot of very nice functionality, and in a pinch, this works extremely well. So this sounds like a pretty good video editor. Are there any downsides? And unfortunately, there are a few. Right down below, one of the most glaring omissions is you can't add any transitions between clips. So all you could do is a hard cut between two of your clips on the storyboard. Also, because it uses a storyboard layout, that makes it very easy to use, but you also don't have any tracks. So let's say you want to do a picture-in-picture effect, or basically you want to have one video play on top of the other. Well, unfortunately, you can't do that. Also, we looked at this background music catalog, and you have a lot of songs you can insert. However, if you upload your video to YouTube, you won't be able to monetize with any of those tracks. Also, probably one of the biggest drawbacks, once you pull together your video and you have your storyboard laid out, when you go to export your video, the highest quality that you can set it to is 1080p. So let's say you have a new camera that shoots at 4K, unfortunately, you won't be able to render your video in the top quality level. All in all, the Windows 10 free video editor is a decent option and you can pull together some pretty nice videos, but the drawbacks are somewhat of a deal breaker, at least for me personally. So let's jump on to the next free video editor. And this brings us to number 2, the best free video editor, and that is the OpenShot video editor. You can download and install it at openshot.org. It's free, it's open source, and you can install it on any platform, whether it's Windows, Mac, or Linux. Simply click on the download text right here. Once you finish installing, this drops you into the OpenShot video editor. And looking at this, it looks pretty simple, but yet it also has a lot of power under the hood. Right here, I can simply drag in video files and they show up here under project files. And here I could simply drag and drop my different files onto the timeline down below. And here now I have multiple tracks, so I can layer different items on top of one another. If I pull in multiple items down onto the timeline below, this is a big improvement over the Windows 10 video editor. Here I can insert transitions, and there are many different transitions that you can choose from. Along with transitions, you can also insert different effects on top of your different media files. As you start laying down all of your different media files on the timeline down below, you can preview the video over here on the right-hand side. Now, I mentioned it looks very simple, but it does also have some advanced capabilities. Here you can right-click on any one of your media files and go into Properties, and you can set different keyframes and change the values on this clip. So once again, it also has a lot of advanced functionality. So are there any drawbacks? I mean, it is free software and it does quite a bit. Well, there is one. Here, if I go up and let's say you want to insert a title, you can insert a standard title just fine, and this works well. But there's also an option for an animated title, which sounds neat. But here, if you select any one of them, you have to install another application called Blender, which will allow you to do an animated title. Now, Blender is also a free application, so it's kind of hard to complain, but it is a little bit of extra friction to be able to insert an animated title. All in all, OpenShot is an excellent choice if you want a simple, but yet also powerful free video editor. This brings us to the next free video editing app, and this one is called Shotcut. You can download this at shotcut.org. Once again, for all of these video editors, I've included links in the description down below. Shotcut is free, it's open source, and it works on all major platforms, including Windows, Mac, and Linux. To download this, simply click on this, click to download text on the top of the page. Once you finish installing Shotcut, you'll be prompted to create a new project. Here I'll click on Start, and this now drops us in the main interface. Just like with the other apps, you can drag and drop your media files in, and here now I see a playlist of all of my files. Just like with the others, you can select one of your files and you can drag and drop it down onto the timeline below. And here I can start pulling together my video. With Shotcut, you can add any number of tracks. Here I can right click and I can add additional video tracks or additional audio tracks. And here I could drop in additional items. As my video starts taking shape, here I could preview what it looks like. Unlike the Windows 10 free video editor, Shotcut supports a massive catalog of transitions. Here I could simply come down to my track and I could drag one of the items and position it over the others, and that'll automatically insert a transition. Here if I click into properties, I could choose from many different transitions, similar to OpenShot. Along with inserting transitions, I could also select one of these clips, and here I could click on filters, and I can add a massive catalog of different filters to this clip. One other thing that I really like about Shotcut is depending on what you're working on, they have different views optimized to that task. Here, for instance, I'm currently in the editing view, which shows me the timeline down below and the preview, but I could also jump into an FX view, or maybe I want to do some color grading, so I could jump into the color view. There's also an audio view and a player view if I just want to review what my video looks like. All in all, Shotcut is a very powerful video editor, and when I look at all the videos on my channel, I could use Shotcut to pull any one of them together. So are there any drawbacks? Well, Shotcut is a little bit more complicated than the first two video editors that we looked at, so the learning curve is a little bit steeper. So it really depends on how serious you are about video editing. If you really plan on creating some advanced videos, this could be a good choice. But if you really just maybe want to pull together a simple video, this might have a few more capabilities than you really need. This now brings us to the fourth free video editor, and this one is called Kdenlive. You can get it at the website kdenlive.org. Once you land on the home page to download it, you'll see a link right here, and this works cross-platform, so whether you have Windows, Mac, or Linux. And once again, this is also an open source video editor, so it's completely free to use. Choose your operating system and then go ahead with the install. This drops us into the main Kdenlive interface, and it looks pretty similar to the previous few video editors that we looked at. Over here on the left-hand side, you can drag and drop different files into the editor. And here too, just like we saw before, you can drag the different items down below onto the timeline. And here too, you get multiple tracks on your timeline. So here I could place them on the same track, or I could place them on separate tracks. One of the key differences, you'll notice now that I have two different ways I could view my video. Right here, I could view the clip. So I could jump into a clip and I could preview that. And then I also have a separate view of my project. So here I could see two different clips side by side. In terms of editing, you have many different tools to edit your videos. In fact, you have what's referred to as normal mode. There's an overwrite mode. So if you drag a clip down, it'll overwrite the existing clip, or you could insert it. They also have a wide variety of different editing tools that you can use. Similar to Shotcut, there are also views that are catered to what you're doing or the task at hand. Up here, I'm currently in the editing view, but let's say I want to work on audio, I could shift into a dedicated audio view. Or maybe I want to focus on effects, or maybe I want to focus on color grading my video. There are views that specialize in each one of those different tasks. Back on the main view, I can also add many different transitions. Here I have two different clips, and if I click into compositions, here I have all of these different options. Let's say I want to add a wipe transition between clips. Here I could insert it between these two clips, and that's now added a transition. I could also choose from many different effects that I want to add on top of any one of my clips. All in all, you can pull together some very impressive and advanced videos using Kdenlive. Although similar to Shotcut, one of the drawbacks is you do have a lot of different options and a lot of different controls. So the learning curve is a little bit steeper. However, there are lots of help resources online that'll help you get started with this video editor. This now brings us to free video editor number 5, and that's Davinci Resolve 17. And this is the one that I personally use to pull together all of my videos on my YouTube channel. Davinci Resolve is a very impressive application. In fact, many different TV studios or film studios use Davinci Resolve to pull together their projects. Davinci Resolve is a freemium product. What that means is you get most of the core or foundational capabilities entirely for free. However, if you want additional effects or tracking, it costs some money for those. But I've been using the free version and I've been able to do all of the editing that I want to get done. To download Davinci Resolve 17 on this main site, once again, the link is in the description. Scroll down and then click on Download Now. When you click on Download Now, you'll have a few different options. There's Davinci Resolve 17. This is the most recent version. You could also get an older version. However, I'd recommend going with the latest. For Davinci Resolve 17, you have the standard version and there's the studio version. The studio version is the pay version. If you simply want to move forward with the free version, select Davinci Resolve 17 and then select your operating system right down here. Davinci Resolve is a powerhouse video editor. Here, just like the others, you can pull your different media clips in, and here I can pull them down onto the timeline and I can start organizing what my video looks like. Right over here, I have a clip viewer and then I also have my project viewer. Over here, I could adjust all sorts of different settings related to the video, the audio, and different effects or transitions that I decide to insert. One of the really nice things about Davinci Resolve is I have all of these other applications that are all part of Davinci Resolve. Here I could load a view of all of my different media files. Here I have a dedicated cutting view which makes it even easier and quicker to cut your different video clips. Here you have your standard editing view, but also if I want to add any VFX, I have a Fusion page where here I could add all these different effects and I have a node view where I can start pulling them together. Over here, I also have access to colors. The color view in Davinci Resolve is one of the industry-leading ways that you can set color on your video. Down below, I also have access to something called Fairlight Audio, and this is a super powerful tool that you can use to adjust the audio on your projects. With Davinci Resolve, they bring together multiple what could be standalone applications all into one interface. So as you're pulling together your project, you can very quickly jump between, say, the editing view and then the VFX view using that clip. Out of all of the video editors that we looked at today, arguably Davinci Resolve has some of the most advanced functionality. In terms of another application that's similar to Davinci Resolve, you have HitFilm Pro and then you also have Adobe Premiere. Those are comparable to what Davinci Resolve offers. But what's great about Davinci Resolve is it's entirely free to start using and only some of the features are behind a paywall. Overall, Davinci Resolve is an excellent choice, and that's why I use it as my primary editor. Although the one downside is it has a very steep learning curve. In fact, anytime I use this video editor, I feel like I'm constantly learning new things about it. But that's also what makes it so exciting. What you can do with this tool is pretty much limitless. We've looked at a lot of fantastic and free video editors today, but I did want to call out some other noteworthy free video editors beyond the 5 that we already looked at. One of them is the Vsdc video editor, and this is also a freemium video editor. So you get most of the core functionality for free, but then a few items are behind a paywall. This is also a good option. There's also HitFilm Express, and this is similar to Davinci Resolve in terms of what you can do. This also follows a freemium model where you get most functionality for free, and then you can upgrade if you want to unlock more functionality. And lastly, another great video editor is called VideoPad, and this is made by NCH Hardware. Now, it is free for home use, but you do get an annoying notification that tells you and always reminds you that you're on the free version. There are also some limitations, like you could only insert so many audio tracks, they limit the number of plugins, but once again, for a free video editor, this also works fairly well. All right, well, that was a quick look at my favorite free video editors. Let me know down below in the comments, which one are you going to use moving forward? If you want to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed.
As always, I hope to see you next time. Bye.
Oh, crap. I
Okay, Will.
I keep forgetting that I got to close down the video. So I got to close it down before I leave. Nuts. But I did stop, I guess. Or did somebody?
Kevin here. Today, I want to show you
Okay, I gotta
use
kill.
Davinci Resolve 17. This is the
Okay, I finally killed it. All right. Actually, these programs do a lot more than I need to have done. I just need basic audio or basic video editing. By the way, I discovered something that I always wondered about. You know, on some of these social media platforms, you see a dance video where they'll take old movie dance situations and put them to music. And they always seem to synchronize the dance steps with the music. And you say, I wonder how in the world do they do that? Because not every one of them had to have the same rhythm. And I noticed in that Windows video editor that they had a thing called synchronize, which apparently synchronizes the video with the music. And I expect that's probably the program they use to do that. I haven't checked it out, but that kind of answers my question of how in the world does somebody do that synchronization? Maybe you've seen that happen on Facebook and other programs. Okay, now this same man that presented in the earlier one does an actual video generation, and it's getting kind of late, and maybe you've learned more than you want to learn about video editing, but it's instructive if you want to see that. And I'll actually send that link up to Hank, and he can then distribute it later, unless you want to see it right now.
No, I think that's enough, Will.
Yeah, we've seen enough. But I was surprised at how much power there is in these various video editors that you can get for free. It's amazing. So it looks like you could even become a professional video editor and provider just with all the free software that's out there. So
yeah. I think that's how so many of the YouTube people do theirs.
So there are hands up, Will.
We have two people with hands up. Are they questions about Will's presentation? If so, nod your heads. Yes, okay. So the first one is Mel.
Yeah, Will, suggest you give some feedback to this guy on his presentation. He was going way too fast until he got to his favorite, and then he finally slowed down. And you couldn't keep up with him. For somebody that's fairly new to it, it'd be a waste of time to even watch those first 3 or 4, whichever it was, because they were just far too fast.
Sometimes you have to go back and watch them 2 or 3 times to get it all. And he's trying to move through as quickly as possible.
His is far too fast. And even those of us who are familiar with the video editing, you couldn't keep up with him. Like I say, once he got to his favorite, he slowed way down.
Yeah.
But up to that point, it was far too fast.
Okay, I can send you his email, his website, and you can complain to him.
David? You're muted.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that when you're doing video stuff, the quality that you get out depends a whole lot on the quality of the camera that you have going in and the microphones that you have going in. And so like my little camera right here, I think is like a 720p camera, which is fine for this sort of stuff. But if I try to make my screen, if I try to show it on a really big screen, you would see it pixelating and other sorts of things. So if you are wanting something that's going to be shown in any sort of professional capability, you need to have good input equipment and good audio. And then much of these things, you can cut and paste it, but the quality that you get out is no better than the quality that came in. And
good point. Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed also that the camera one that you showed at the very beginning that recorded it as MP4 files. Those are already compressed fairly heavily because those are designed to go out over the internet. If you're doing professional stuff, you usually start off with motion JPEG, which is basically the whole frames are just captured as whole frames. You can then take that and put it into MPEG, which is the kind of quality that you get off of DVDs and things. And then if you want to stream it on the internet, then you compress it even more into MP4, which is it's the layer 4 of the MPEG standard, just like MP3 is the layer 3 audio of the MPEG standard. And those, basically it's just a matter of, you don't want to prematurely compress stuff because you can't get it back afterwards.
Okay, good point.
Stanley?
Just a comment. As a professional filmmaker, I have a bachelor's and a master's in cinematography, but I left the field in 1994. And at that time, we were editing with tape. And each generation of copy would go from one generation of tape to another, usually U-matic. And I got out of it at that time, and it just boggles my mind about the features that are available in free editing capabilities nowadays. But that's 2.5 decades of technology moving, and I have not kept up with it. It just boggles my mind what can be done now. Enough said.
I feel the same way, Stan. I try to keep up with technology, but there's no way to do that nowadays. Okay, Saul?
So I have two comments, not so much about what you presented per se, but in response to Mel's comment about the speed of the person talking, doing the video, in all YouTube videos that I've seen, there is a gear icon. When you click on it, you can adjust the speed of the playback, and you can slow it down or speed it up. So that might help Mel. As far as Will and the videos going on and playing other content after the video you wanted ended, there is a slider at the bottom center of YouTube videos called autoplay. It's defaulted to autoplay. You need to slide it to the left to say, don't do that. And hopefully it will not play into an additional video.
So
that's all I got.
It stops after the one that you're playing.
Sometimes there's an ad at the end, but then it will stop.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I keep forgetting to stop it, and I notice I'm not the only one that forgets to do that. So, all right. Well, I was sorry with all the technical problems I was having, but when I ran through it the other day, it worked fine. But when it comes time to do the presentation, the gremlins jump in and take over. Pat?
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to say, can Saul repeat what he said? So when you're watching all these videos, there's some sort of an automatic way of stopping it from rolling into the next one?
There is a slider at the bottom of the YouTube video panel, and something that slides left to right, and it's usually slid to the right by default. And if you hover over it, you'll see a little pop-up. It'll say autoplay. I believe that's what it's called. And if you just simply slide it to the left to turn it off, that will prevent it from going into a subsequent video.
Can you show us, please, Saul?
Okay, thanks.
I imagine I can. I imagine Hank can do this. He's got plenty of YouTube videos. You want to do that, Hank?
What, show a video and show how to?
You don't have to play the video. Just bring one up and share your screen and just show where the autoplay slider is.
Sure. Here's, I'll share my Google screen, and then I'll go to YouTube and my channel. Which will start this video. And where is it?
It's not there because that's a very old video, I'm guessing. Could you pull something up more current?
Yep, I can. Just a minute.
It didn't auto play back in those days.
Okay, let's go to YouTube, YouTube's main screen, and we'll play the first thing that's, here we go. Settings.
The settings is for the speed that I was talking about with Mel, but it's just
Here.
right there is the autoplay.
See, it says autoplay is on up here. And if you slide that to the left, autoplay is. So you can do that anytime after the video starts.
Or even before.
Yeah, even before. And we all ought to get into the habit of doing that. I'm as guilty as Will.
Thank you, Hank.
A question, when you slow down the video, does it affect the audio? The audio continues at regular audio speed?
Yeah, it's just like if you speed it up, it doesn't sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Here's the playback speed now, where you can do it 3 of normal, or half normal, or a quarter normal. Okay, that's enough of that train going by.
So that was on settings. It was kind of blurry on my end, so I wasn't really catching what exactly you did.
Okay, you want me to show you again?
Yeah, if you could. It was like really blurry, so I'm not sure exactly what setting you were on.
Okay. The
Oh, where the settings are? You were on the little gear thing?
you see the gear thing, that the gear thing always gives you settings.
Right.
So
that's what you were on, because I couldn't tell. Well, now it's clear.
yeah, when I click that, I get playback speed as one of the settings that you can change. And when you go up and click on the normal, you then can change it from normal to 3/4 or half. Can you see that?
Yeah, now I can see. For some reason or other, I couldn't see before. Now it's all clear.
All right.
Thank you. It's all blurry before for some reason. I don't
Okay,
know.
I have my hand up because I want to do something here that I think I can do. Yes. If I click on, by the way, when you're looking for something to show on share screen, if you were going to show it in your browser, find the browser. In my case, my browser is Google. If it were Firefox, this little icon down here that I'm moving my cursor around.
We're not seeing what you're seeing.
Whoops, sorry. Yep. So I'm now back on a YouTube, but if I go to there, nope, this isn't going to work. I can't demonstrate to you what I intended to, so I will shut up on this subject.
You
But I
can't show us how to share a screen without already being shared screened.
What I wanted to do, nope. All right, pass. All right, I'm sharing my screen, right?
Yes.
The things that Will showed you are on you are now seeing my menu for all the things on my Windows 10 computer?
Yes.
Okay. One of the ones that he was talking about was camera right here under C. Another one, which you all should know if you're interested in this subject, is under V for video editor. And there's another one called voice recorder. With your camera, you can record either a picture or a video, but if you wish to record just your voice, you have this one under V, a voice recorder. And when you do that, you can click here and start recording what I am now saying, which I am now recording, which I now could pause or finish. I just wanted to show those on my particular Windows 10 screen. There we go.
Hank, that's stored as an MP3?
What, the audio?
Yeah, the audio.
The voice recorder? I think so.
And where is it stored? Do you know? Or do you tell it
Let
where
me
to
see.
store it?
I will.
That's a deja vu question.
No, that doesn't work.
Well, so Saul, you're saying you tell it where to store it. But see,
You might, or there might be a default.
That's what I was asking is there a default or do you tell it where?
Hold on. I'm now in my I'm not sharing. Let's see. The voice recorder files are MP3 files. I found that out by just going and finding them. They're under, when you do one of these recordings, if it's a video, it'll be under pictures in your, let's see, maybe I should share this screen with you because that would definitely.
Yeah, it does store video in pictures.
Okay, I'm now sharing my screen to show you where you can go for these various things that you've recorded. Most of them you can start by going to Documents, your Documents folder in this PC. And when you go to Documents, you get some things. One of them is sound recordings under Documents. If you go to sound recordings, that folder will have in it the individual recordings that you have made. If you go to Documents again and look under, I think. Nope. I lied.
Yeah, I noticed that some of the files were M4A. Was that what it was called? Some of the audio documents?
They were not MP4s.
The sound recordings, the one you're talking about here? Yeah, here's an M4A.
What?
This
I've never heard
one
of that.
is, it's an MP3.
What's an M4A?
Probably another video or sound format. It's probably the Microsoft version of something.
Okay, that's all I wanted to share. So you could see that a standard Windows 10 computer has those things that Will was talking about, and they're under either camera or under C for camera or under V for voice recording.
So the voice recordings are stored as M4A files. Is that correct?
Hold on, you're asking me to go back and share again.
Or if Will has Windows 10, he could actually go to the voice recorder and play with it himself and figure it
easier
out.
to ask Hank to do it.
I'm looking for.
You don't learn that way, Will.
There's a squirrel M4A.
Unfortunately, these things, I can't change when this was. What I wanted to do was to sort these files sort them by the date that they were made. Let's see. These are sound recordings. Test 1, 2, 3. This does not tell me when they were made, unfortunately. Nope. Documents, let's see. Answers, Audacity.
I think Will could figure this out on his own.
Yep.
Yeah, I just tried this, and yes, they do go into document sound recordings, and they do make M4As.
Okay. That answers Will's question. Let's get on to something else. Are there any other questions about Will's? And if not, we'll go into Q&A.
Well, I wanted to make a comment that one of the videos that I could show that I didn't is how to record both your monitor and your camera at the same time. And there is a video which I will send to Hank, which you can watch that tells you how to do that. It looked like an advance over just straight video editing. And I think it's something that some other reviewers have done. And it's an interesting feature where you can record both what's on your monitor and also what's on your camera at the same time. And that may be what I was talking about earlier, where you want to show a snapshot of your own video down in the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner, while you're showing another video at the same time. That I have to look into and figure out how to do that. But I'll send all this information up to Hank, and he can post it as today's presentation.
You can also put stuff in the chat window, like links to YouTube. We put them in the chat window, then we can all pick them up.
Well, he has to send them to me. He can't put them to all of you in the chat window. He has to send it to me, and I have to post it to you. I think it's better if he does what he said. I'll send it by email.
Okay.
Okay, Sammy, is this on Will's thing? No. Okay,
No.
We're into Q&A.
Okay, are we into Q&A? Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, go.
If I've missed a program, like I couldn't do last week or the week before, how do I pick up that recording?
I will, you mean, how do you watch the recording of this session?
Yes, please.
I'm just starting this, and what I plan to do is to make it available to those who ask me for it. But I think maybe what I ought to do is each week post the last week's video on our website somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could just go there and click on it.
Oh, that would be lovely.
How does that sound?
Sounds good and easier.
Yeah. I think it sounds easier. It sounds easier for me also, rather than individually sending it to the people who ask, who might ask Monday, Tuesday, Friday, or 2 weeks from next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Ross, did you just have your hand up?
Yes. At one point you posted a meeting to YouTube. Is that not something that is easy to be done?
Yeah, I could. I could do it that way.
I thought when we did that, that you were surprised about how many people had been interested in it and had watched it.
Yeah. And I have about I don't know. I have thousands of people who've watched my videos, and so many of them have subscribed. I forget how many subscribers I have, but it's a pretty big number. So you might find people watching our sessions who have nothing to do with the seniors computer group. Okay,
is that an issue?
I'm going to think about this. I'll consider that, Ross. You know, putting them on YouTube is one way, and putting them on the website is another way, and maybe I'll do both. Who knows? Yes, David.
Yeah, one of the things I think you need to watch out about when you're putting stuff on YouTube is, especially if you're replaying someone else's content, you may get a copyright strike against you. So you have to be careful that anything that you put up there, you do have permission to put up there.
Yeah. My experience says that that is really bad if you're getting paid for what you put up on YouTube, but I'm not that famous.
Yeah, but the fellow whose YouTube you're putting up wanted to get paid too.
But I've had something that I put on YouTube get a copyright tag, but it didn't do me any harm. It just meant that they wouldn't pay me for that particular item.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that can happen when you're posting stuff to
Right.
a big platform.
Fran?
Yes, first of all, about the YouTube thing, there's also privacy of the people that participate here. What you could do is create another channel that's just private for our group. And then you wouldn't have any of those issues. But that's not my question. My question is, I have a desktop computer that I was running off of Ethernet, and I replaced that location, and I now have it in a location where it needs to access Wi-Fi, but it doesn't have Wi-Fi. So does anyone recommend like an external Wi-Fi adapter? Is there such a thing?
Yeah,
I would think there is. Okay.
Ross?
I'm listening.
Ross is muted.
You're muted, Ross.
Thank you. I was trying to get there. So yes, there are extenders for Wi-Fi. You generally try to put those halfway between where your Wi-Fi source is and where it is that you want to have your Wi-Fi. TP-Link is the ones that I've been using.
No, the problem is not about reaching the Wi-Fi. Literally, this was a business computer that does not have a Wi-Fi adapter built in.
So yes, then you can buy an adapter, one that's USB that will TP-Link, Netgear. Most companies will make a device that you plug in by USB, and then that adds a Wi-Fi adapter to the computer.
Can you do a Wi-Fi adapter and a Bluetooth adapter that way?
Yes. Generally, they're different devices, but you can plug both into the computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you look now, David's showing you the devices that he has from Netgear that do those things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you do.
I will check Netgear.
Pull them off the edge.
Hey, that's
Well,
pretty neat,
I would
David.
review.
I find the number of people on here who are surprisingly helpful just amazes me. It's wonderful. It's why I still do this after all these years. Okay, Fran, are you done? Fran?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mel Weekly, you are muted.
I got two different things. One on the copyright deal. It becomes a problem. I have a friend who's had a lot of issues with, he puts up stuff that includes music performances on the lawn that people do stuff, and they can't continually cut off and won't let people look at his videos because they say he's violating a copyright. And he goes through a big hassle, sometimes takes weeks to get it straightened out so people can view his videos. So yeah, you got to be real careful on that copyright stuff. It can cause you problems. And they will eventually, if you have too much problem, you will lose your privileges on YouTube and have to go through a whole big hullabaloo to get it back on. The second thing was I had something I wanted to share with everybody, and I sent it to Stan, and I forgot who else I sent it to now. Anyway, it's basically Microsoft Office Pro which includes a couple of things that the regular doesn't include. And it's usually $300 and something, but there's a special deal going on through a company that I've done a lot of purchasing through over the last several years. And you can get it for $49, limited one copy. But the other thing is it was for a limited time, and it ends at 1:30 my time here, which is 12:30 in California. So if anybody is interested in it, you'll need to ask me or Stan to send you the link so you can go get it before it's too late.
Is that it, Mel?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I had a couple of comments. One was, is there a way, Hank, that we can archive the various weekly meetings onto like Dropbox or someplace like that?
I'm not sure that they're files, they're big files. The problem with big files is that wherever you archive them, sooner or later, you're going to run out of free space, and somebody's got to pay for that. And I'm not sure that that's worth the seniors computer group's money.
Well, you don't have to keep it for many years.
We're just starting this. This is the first session that has been automatically recorded that I plan to make available for those who couldn't be here or for those who wanted to play it again all the way through. And I question whether that need is going to exist for more than a month. I'm sure I can keep it on my computer, keep them on my computer, and keep erasing one and storing the next, as long as the total is not more than 4. I forget how much one of these is. I'll let you all know. I'm sure it's pretty big. But I just as soon wait. I understand your question, and my answer is I'm not sure that's important, but let's wait and see.
Okay.
Let's see how much interest this is. For now, I'm definitely going to keep this on my computer, and I will send it by Gmail. You will have to have a Gmail account, because if I send something that's this big, it will have to be sent as a link, and I can do that by Gmail.
Okay.
Hank, I was thinking that when you send out the invitation for the next Zoom meeting, perhaps you could include the link to the video of the previous Zoom meeting.
Yep, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do that, or maybe it will be on the Seniors Computer Group website then, and anyone would be able to find it easily.
Hank, if I might comment, I think Zoom itself offers to store the recording in the cloud. And when you close up the meeting, it'll ask you to save the recording and ask you where you want to save it. And I think that you could save it in the cloud. And I don't know what the restrictions are with Zoom, and I don't know what the restrictions are of the AppSug copy of our meeting. But when you save the recording, you may be able to save it to the cloud. Yep. And you can provide the link to the cloud site of the Zoom meeting. So I think you may have I'm repeating myself, end of comment.
There are about 6 ways to do this, and we now are up to 7, and I'm hoping nobody has any more helpful suggestions.
I just have a comment with regard to what Stan said, at least on our paid account, and I don't know if you want to infringe on APCUG's generosity here, but on a standard $15 a month type Zoom paid account, the storage capacity for that is 2 gigabytes. That isn't very many long videos.
Right. Patricia, or Will, are you?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing to what Fran had. Fran, with that Wi-Fi adapter, normally those are USB and plug into the back or the side of a computer. If that's not in line with your Wi-Fi transmitter, they do make an external. In fact, you can hook it to the end of an external cable and then place that where it's more in line with your Wi-Fi signal. So keep that in mind. That's all
Thank
I
you.
had.
Thank you.
And Hank,
Patricia.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on, putting things on YouTube and that. Isn't there a way when you put something on YouTube that you could credit the original author? And wouldn't that suffice so you wouldn't get sued or harassed in some way?
No, that won't solve your problem. If it's, I'm not worried about copyright for our recordings. The kind of, we're not playing music in the background. If you play music in the background and it's a piece of music which is copyrighted, that will get automatically picked up. That's how mine got caught. I had a video that had a soundtrack with it. The soundtrack played as a piece of copyrighted music.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. That's a good point. Okay.
Sammy.
My simple little question has led to all this, to me, complicated responses. And all I would like is a simple way to watch a recording. Thank you.
A simple way to watch a recording
of a program, yes.
A recording of, for example,
of our class.
For example, how to watch a recording of this session.
Yes.
When somebody sends you the recording, you save it somewhere in your computer, and when you have it saved, you go there in your Windows.
Hank, I don't think she's asking how to play the video. She's just asking for you to implement a simple way for it to get to
For me to access it.
Yeah. She just wants a link she can click on and it'll play.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that is the way that it will come to you. It will come to you as a file that you can click on.
Who's sending me
Does that answer your question?
File? No, who's sending me the file?
Who is sending you the file?
Yes.
I will.
Oh, so it'll be,
You would get it as an attachment to an email if it's small enough, or as a link in an email if it's too big.
Great.
And if you click on that link in the email, it will start playing on your computer.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
Hank, what kind of file is it and how big is it?
He hasn't done it yet,
Hey guys,
Will.
you're beating this horse long after you're beating him before he's even alive. I don't know the answer to your questions. I don't know what we're going to do with it. Tune in next week.
Okay, I thought you had already done some.
Okay,
sorry.
So I have done a couple of these where I recorded some things we did up at the Peninsula Shepherd Center, and it comes in as an MP4 file. And an hour-long session was a little over 400 megabytes.
And I will add to David's comment, it depends on the resolution of the video. And Zoom is very variable when it comes to that, what it generates in the way of a recording.
Okay, Stan?
I didn't have my hand up, but I appreciate the thought.
Pat has her hand up.
Patricia.
Okay, well, my question has got to do with Sammy's. So in other words, to get all these videos that we want, we have to go through Hank? I thought we were able to get it just via the website. Did I miss something somewhere?
Tune
along the
in
line?
next week to answer your question.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to get an answer this week because I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. It will end up on my computer sometime in the next hour or so. It takes a while to get resolved after this session quits. And then I will do something with it.
Okay, but the videos that are already on our website, we can just watch those, right?
There are none.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought you had a bunch there. Oh, well, okay, never mind. I haven't looked.
Will.
Yeah, my question is, if you know that you're going to be doing something that's copyrighted, what do you do? How do you fulfill the copyright problem where you may have to go pay a fee or something?
I
Anybody
think
know
I
how you
think
do
the
that?
answer is depends on what you're going to do with it. If you're going to put it up on YouTube and you know that there's something in it that's copyrighted, don't.
No, I'm saying if you want to, what do you do?
I think the answer is you either take your chances or you don't put it up.
No, there should be some legal way that you actually go to
YouTube,
somebody and pay a copyright fee.
Let me hop in here. I've got an answer for you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
You have to contact the originator and get permission to use it. A lot of times doing stuff with computer club, things like that, they'll give you permission for nothing. If they think you're doing it to try to make money, they'll charge you for it. But you've got to contact the originator. And you have credit for it too at the end of your recording. That's the two things you have to do in order to not have an issue with the copyrights.
Yeah.
Mel is completely correct as far as copyright law goes. However, whether or not, if you get permission from the originator, you could still put it up on YouTube, I don't know, because YouTube has their own rules, and I will bet you that their rules are very automated and probably not susceptible to doing things like getting personal individual permission for some part of your video that's copyrighted by somebody else.
Yeah. Well, I'm planning to sing happy birthday at my wife's birthday party and post it on YouTube. And I expect I'm going to get a copyright infringement.
I am just amazed that we're still talking about this. Every time we keep going on about this kind of a convoluted subject, you are taking up time on our recording.
Oh, well, yeah, but this is important stuff. Right.
But I think that horse has trotted away.
Well, I got a comment on the happy. Hey, wait a second, I'm talking. I think that happy birthday thing was all taken care of. I know there was a big lawsuit about it for a while, but I think that was taken care of. So now you're free to do happy birthday.
Google is happy birthday copyrighted.
Right, but it's not.
And tell us next week. Don't tell us now. Dan.
They just shut off the copyright for happy birthday.
Yeah.
Glad to hear
last year or two.
Right, exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's getting kind of late. And unless somebody has a really important question that they have to have answered today, I'd really kind of like to shut this down. Dan, tell us your really important question.
Well, it's not a question. I just wanted to alert you to an article in today's newspaper. IRS plans to scan faces.
What?
The IRS plans to scan faces for their website.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
I saw that. In order to get access to the IRS site, they're going to have to, part of their, are you saying who you are includes a face scan now.
Wow.
It's just an interesting article in today's newspaper.
I'm about to shut this down.
Mel has a comment.
I'm going to make Mel the
Co-host.
host.